And welcome to a new edition of the Red Mountain Express. I'm Blake Westbrook, and with me, as always, is Patrick Tucker and Matthew Joyner. We've got a good show planned for you today. This is our 50th episode.
That's right.
Big 50, 5-0.
Yeah. Patrick, you were like, "Why are you here for this?"
Yeah,
because you're.
I feel like y'all should be doing this one by yourselves.
All right, get out.
Like last week. All right, I'll see you guys.
Let's get in and let's talk about the news and what's been going on in Birmingham. Shipt has decided to keep its headquarters in Birmingham. They announced, I believe it was last week, they will be adding 881 more jobs. They will be staying in the John Hand building. They were, of course, purchased by Target last year for $550 million in cash. So that's good news, right?
Yeah, just a couple of dollars.
Yeah.
There.
Now, do you think they're going to stay in that building, Matthew?
In the John Hand building?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think they're utilizing it well. I think it looks really good, to have people come in and see what they've done with the John Hand building. I see no reason for them to leave.
Yeah, Birmingham approved some incentives for this, right? It was, I think,
yes, some big incentives.
Yeah.
Like almost $2 million or $1.75 million.
$1.762 million from Birmingham, with incentives going towards training, like skill training for people in the area. And then Jeffco was $700,000. And I think there's some incentives in the pipeline from the state, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
That's cool. I think it was really cool of Birmingham to step up and try to do what they could to keep them here.
Well, and the CEO has said in interviews that they would probably fit very well in Silicon Valley.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
They've got another office in San Francisco
Right.
with a lot of employees there, and there's no doubt in my mind that they could take all of their employees there.
Absolutely.
Or go there and find all new employees. I mean, it's an incredibly smart move for us to pay these incentives to keep them here. It sets us up for you've got 881 new employees with an average of $50,000 salary. That's a lot of revenue from us, even just from tax money. On top of that, think about all the new employees that are being trained through Birmingham's programs or through Shipt's program. When new tech companies come in and they see this huge pool of tech-savvy employees, that is huge for us to get new companies to come in.
And I also saw where Target was really starting to compete with Amazon on their delivery of products and services to their customers. And with Amazon growing, or with Target growing, you're going to see Shipt grow as well. So this will pay for itself, right?
Yeah, I think the estimated revenue over like 20 years, I think it says something like $105 million if they kind of keep their current payroll.
Yeah,
which I imagine they'll probably exceed expectations if everything goes correctly.
Sure.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news. Another follow-up item that we talked about a few weeks back was the Commerce Center building, also known as the Old Protective Life building on First Avenue North, is going to be turned into a 96-room hotel. It'll be a part of the Hilton Tapestry Collection that is being developed by Raglan Hospitality. They're a company that is behind the Redmont Hotel. Well, the Design and Review Committee approved the plans for construction, and construction will begin in September or October. So this is good news moving forward. We've always talked about how Birmingham needs more hotel rooms in the area. So
this also includes the 14-story tower there on, or the 14-story tower and then the 2-story attached building on Morse Avenue.
What are they going to use that for? Do we know?
I don't know. According to the Biz Journal's article, they don't go into that. So
I wonder if it's going to be kind of like a meeting space for.
I can see it being like a little mini convention center or something
Yeah,
like that, or a restaurant space.
Yeah, that'd be
really
good too.
Cool use of it.
Absolutely. So we'll keep you updated on that story, but it's something we kind of wanted to mention because this is moving forward. They're going to have to go back in front of the Design and Review Committee when they want to do the signage. But basically, the facade and the building is going to maintain its present look. It'll be patched, painted, of course. But we've always said that, and I've talked about, I know Matthew has talked about that we love old buildings, and we think that old buildings need to be used in the city of Birmingham instead of tearing them down and building something new. And I'm glad this is happening. So
I agree. I think we have a lot of old buildings that are not being used.
That's exactly right.
And there's a lot of great space for people to. So I think you're just going to see more and more of this.
Yeah. And on the subject of old buildings, the You Are Beautiful building that's over. It's kind of near the ball stadium. Am I right here, Matthew?
Yeah, it is. It's on 2nd Avenue South and 18th Street.
Yeah, so It's going to be if you've ever seen this building, it's big block letters that say "You are beautiful." That's graffiti. That's kind of what it's known for. But it's basically a shell of a building.
Yeah, it looks like an old shelled out parking garage.
Right. Well, it's going to be turned into. There'll be businesses on the bottom floor, and what's on the top floor, Matthew? Do you know?
So the way I read this was they're going to sell these shells, is what the developer called them, and so you buy a shell and you have the ability to customize this shell however you want, and on top of customizing the inside of the actual shell, then you also have access to the second story or the roof part of that. So you could ideally set up a little shop with a bedroom above it, or a little restaurant with a rooftop bar on top of it.
That's cool.
Well,
yeah.
And in the subject of a restaurant, there is a restaurant that they have coming to the area. It's the Twisted Root Burger Company. Which they have one of the best days. We've
right
all
by
been
my house.
There, right?
Yeah. It's a good place.
It's good. I like it a lot.
I've still not been ever. Like I've seen it by your place a million times. I used to work over there, and I've never been in there.
It's pretty good food. I like the they do fun. They've got a lot of fun stuff. So they've got a lot of different meats like ostrich or elk or bison stuff you don't see everywhere.
The best part about the Vestavia one is they have an outdoor playground that you can just let the kids run. Man,
great. It's fenced in, and so it's just a little play area. My kids love it. They just go nuts, and we can just sit there and kind of watch them. So
and I don't think you said Vestavia, but this is off of Rocky Road, right, or Old Rocky Road?
Yeah, Rocky Ridge. It's Vestavia.
Yeah. So that building used to be the Moe's Barbecue. I want to say
it was. And Moe's moved across the street, and then they turned it into the Twisted Root.
Yeah. So that's coming to. Is it First Avenue?
Second Avenue South.
Yeah, Second Avenue South. It was an old printing press building.
That's right.
And so that's kind of, it has those, those high brick, walls that people love.
Very industrial looking.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
they're actually going to call it the Printer's Corner. That's going to be the development's name based off its history.
Oh,
so
cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's happening, and I'm glad it's happening, and we're excited that another old building is finally getting used.
And it's really cool. This is coming at a time when you've also got Founder Station coming, the Woolsworth, the Battery. Those are three other similar developments coming to Birmingham in the next couple of years. So this is another one of those. It's kind of changing the face of Birmingham, and I'm really excited about having these different little areas, pockets throughout the city. Yeah,
and I'm looking at the story on Biz Journal right now, and apparently they have space for other restaurant tenants. And then, of course, we talked about residential units on the second floor. So
it's 28,000 square feet, so there's a lot of room in there.
Good Lord, that is big. Well, we'll keep you updated on that, and hopefully they can get that rolling here soon. I don't know if they have a timeline of when this is going to start, but it appears they're kind of moving forward on this.
The drawings look really cool.
Yeah, they really do, yeah. Another follow-up story. We're doing a lot of follow-ups today.
That's okay.
Does that seem all right? Yeah. This actually, I saw this today. I think it was on Twitter, right before we went on the air. Is that the BJCC bonds were priced and sold today, which means now that construction will begin probably before the year's out. They'll probably start site construction, clearing, and get everything ready to start building the stadium. And I'm not sure if that timeline also includes the BJCC, but it just shows you that, we've been told for years and years that a dome was coming to Birmingham, and there's been a lot of false starts. Well, things are moving forward now. I mean, they've got the funding for it, and it's time to start building. So that's actually happening.
Yeah, I don't think this is one of those, let's have a ribbon cutting and then never do anything about it. I think this is a real deal now.
Yeah, it's happening. You mentioned BJCC. I think those renovations have already started.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, they have? Okay.
Yeah, and those should be completed within the 2021, 2020 timeframe. The stadium's expected to be completed by 2021. And then
World Games.
Here we are. I'm reading in the AL.com article now. The arena upgrades are expected to be finished by 2022.
That's interesting. I was reading about the World Games, and this is totally random side note, but the World Games don't allow you to build anything specifically for the World Games.
Have seen that before.
I think that's really cool because, as opposed to the Olympics, where people, cities spend millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars to build all this stuff for the Olympics and then end up losing money.
Yeah,
World Games is just no. If you don't have the facilities, we're not having those games.
Right.
Well, you see, in Atlanta, they built the stadium, Centennial Stadium, that later became Turner Field,
right?
And that's now a football stadium now for Georgia State. So I mean, they didn't stay there that long, and you see all these. Luckily, in Atlanta, they built most of those events around, or those venues around schools and stuff they used already. But I mean, if you go over to Athens,
Yeah.
where they've done those sites. I mean, they have like tennis courts that are abandoned.
Yeah.
You know,
We look at the
not
way
doing
they did
anything.
them in Russia last time, and that's a ghost town now. I mean, it's a giant empty facility.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's not a ghost town. That's my.
Okay, it's not a ghost town.
That is my. That is.
He said it's not a ghost town. It's not a ghost
I'm
town.
gonna take his word
worst-
for it. It's not a ghost town.
That's my worst Vladimir Putin impression. You want to see the World Games? You'll come see the World
I'm gonna
Games.
mute his mic before he keeps going.
Okay. Speaking of that area, Matthew, talk to me about that underpass development they're wanting to do.
Right. So everybody knows that they've been working on 2059 and the new bridges there.
What? No.
No.
Really?
Yeah. Right. We actually took one of the new exits this last weekend.
And you survived.
And
it looked like.
survived.
Yeah.
No collapses. So they're still working on that. Of course, that's not going to be done until about 2021 before the World Games, hopefully, in the spring. There are ideas being thrown about what to do with the space under the bridges. I think one of the bigger ones that's gaining traction and is actually starting to pick up new details is the idea of putting park area under that bridge space. So from about 15th Street North over to about 25th Street North, the area under the 2059 interstate, making it a open civilian park type area.
At least it'll be shaded.
It would be shaded, yeah.
But I would think this would be very noisy.
Well, so the way they're designing the bridges, supposedly these are going to be noise reducing bridges.
Oh, come on. Stop it.
Noise cancellation.
I'm not making this up. I don't know how exactly they're doing that.
That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard today, and I've been watching the news all
But
day.
you have to imagine though that the original 2059 construction was a lot older, a lot less sound compared to what they're doing now.
Soundproof
So
bridges.
this, just by factor of it being new, should be less
So
noisy.
you're telling me that we're going to be walking into there, and I'm going to have to tell somebody, that there are cars passing over us right now. You just can't hear it.
Exactly,
Yeah,
just
okay.
like that.
18-wheelers laying on their horns and
So they've named this project. It's being bandied about. They've named it City Walk Birmingham. And again, from 15th Street North to 25th Street, that's about from where the Social Security office is all the way past to like parallel to Uptown, the end of Uptown where Topgolf is.
Is this happening?
No,
It's not definite.
It's not happening. It
Okay.
it has been given to a designer, a local Birmingham designer. They're working with other firms, and they have had 3 sessions today at the Boutwell Auditorium, and they're going to have 3 more sessions on July the 24th at the Birmingham Crossplex, Bill Harris Arena, to discuss this, to work on the actual plans for it, to have people come in and help contribute to the discussion.
Well, I saw the renderings. They look pretty cool with the lights and everything like that. It reminds me of the the underpasses we have in Birmingham. They have lights in them as well, so that's good. I just don't know, like.
Well, and when's the last time you have driven through that area? Like
about a week ago, yeah.
If
It's
you look
mostly
into the
parking right
it's,
now,
It's
yeah.
a lot of like city parking, municipal vehicles, construction vehicles. It's all fenced off. So they're talking about.
It looks bad.
It looks bad. There's not much use for it for everyday people living in the city. But they're talking about the shape of it changing from about 65 feet between the pillars to about 165 feet. So that's a much larger space. If we can utilize this for something besides parking construction vehicles, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I agree too.
well, I mean, I think they could use part of it for just parking, right?
Sure,
I
yeah,
mean,
absolutely. For Uptown or for the BJCC, I mean, that'd be an excellent idea. You just walk across the street and get in there.
Right, but I mean, it's about a 10 city block distance. So I mean, it's a big place.
That's a lot.
That's a long walk.
Yeah.
Like I've been to the Social Security building. I mean, that's way over there.
Right.
All the way to to where the Topgolf is. I mean, that's quite a path. So.
Again, it is just in the planning phase, but Woodfin has made a statement about it. He said, "We are excited for City Walk Birmingham and the transformation it will bring to our city. And it's amazing how such potential is being created out of this unique space." So,
I've seen one petition that's been going around. I don't know how long it's been going around, but they're trying to get a skate park. And I think this would be a really cool place to put a skate park.
that could be a really cool space.
Skate park.
Yeah.
We have a little
Skateboarding?
one there close to Railroad Park.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of
in Railroad Park.
Oh yeah.
kinda
They have
is,
those
yeah.
little. Yeah.
They have the little bowls or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that what those things are for? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
You won't see me doing it.
No,
I've still got a really good scar from the first time and the only time I've tried to skateboard.
I was about to say,
me too.
Were you a skater boy back in the day?
No,
Yeah.
I tried once. I could see bone.
I went down one hill and I made it down the hill, and I don't know that the skateboard ever did. But we definitely didn't do it at the same time.
Don't lie. You still have your inlines at the house. That you
No,
take
I never
to-
had this.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I was too
We used to
poor.
go to a place called Looney Skating Rink in Montgomery, and there was always this kid there that like brought his own skates.
Yeah.
He was that guy, and he'd win every race, and his shirt was always extra long, so it would like flow in the wind and everything. I hated
If
that.
you're listening, that
glorious.
guy.
I
Yeah.
hated that kid. He's probably like an avid
Blake's
listener.
address is.
He was probably like about to go on our Patreon account and do something, and then he heard that.
It was
and
a big
says-
check coming.
It was a big
Yeah,
check.
He's like, no, I'm
Yeah,
going to
I'm
keep my
sorry.
flowing shirts to myself.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, let's take a break
But
and.
wait.
Oh wait, we got one more.
Yeah.
What are we talking about
We
now?
have one more story. Okay, so last week, if you listened, in the second half of the show, I had a call to action for you. This week, if you're listening to the first half of the
Call
show,
to action.
I think I'll be able to catch a little bit more of you here. All I'm looking for is, you're listening right now on your cell phone or your computer, somewhere where you have access to social media. If you're in the car, of course, wait until you're done driving. But get on your social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, find us and drop us a quick note. Tag us, add us, send us a private message if you want. Just let us know that you're listening to the show, that you enjoy it. If there are parts that you enjoy more than others or parts you don't enjoy.
Or if there's certain people that you don't enjoy.
we just
I can
wanna-
take it.
There you go. Yeah, let
They're probably
Patrick
gonna
know.
say, that Blake guy's annoying as
Get rid
hell.
of Blake and we'll keep listening. Yeah,
Exactly.
Just let us know that you're listening and what you think about the show. It would help us a ton. We are trying to move things around, revamp a little bit, make the show flow a little bit better for you. Get the news to you sooner in the show so that you can enjoy the rest of the car ride without Blake talking about Star Wars.
I mentioned Star Wars one time.
Had to get it in there.
So just let us know, and this will be the last time I ask. Maybe, probably not.
No, you'll ask
Probably-
next week
yeah.
too.
Last time this week.
Yeah.
Last time today.
Yeah, so let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Slossfest. They had some problems, apparently, and then also about Patrick's adventure at Ovenbird. So let's hear from our friends at Beach and Woodworks, and we'll be right back. Beach and Woodworks is a locally owned and operated wood shop in Birmingham, Alabama, specializing in custom furniture and small home goods. Chris and Kanan Beecham create a wide variety of unique pieces of all sizes, ranging from cutting boards to farmhouse tables. Using wood sourced from Alabama sawmills, Beach and Woodworks creates affordable quality pieces that will be a one-of-a-kind fixture for your home. So support your local woodworker and visit redmountainexpress.com/woodworks or check them out on their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Beach and Woodworks, turning your house into a home. And welcome back to the 50th episode of Red Mountain Express. Let's talk about your trip, Patrick, to Ovenbird.
Yeah, so I wasn't here last week. Sorry. I know you guys missed me.
We did.
We did.
I had a work dinner at Ovenbird, which I have been wanting to go to. I enjoy Chris Hastings and his Hot Knot. Been
Yeah,
there
Hot
a few
Knot's
times.
great, yeah.
Hot Knot's really good. So I've been wanting to try it. My wife doesn't really eat tapas, so she doesn't like sharing. She likes to just commit to one meal and eat that, which I know you guys have talked about. You
I
don't
knew
like to
I
share
liked
either.
Clifford, yeah.
She's so
Smart
awesome.
woman. You picked well.
So awesome.
But this was my.
You're the weirdo of the
I
relationship,
know.
aren't you? Yeah.
I like to share. I had somebody tell me at work the other day they like going out to dinner with me because I like to share food and they like to share food, and I was like, yeah, we'll just share. But this is our team at work. Got to go out, and it was really nice. One, it was really nice to not be paying for it.
That's the best part about meal going out.
But I've made so much fun of the beef fat candle, and I tried it. It was they have this option for kind of larger groups where you can do sort of the chef's menu, and chef picks several things for you and sends them out to your table. Which is great because then we didn't have to make any decisions about it. Nobody had to feel bad like if they ordered something and then other people wanted to try it. It's like, no, I ordered the empanadas. You don't get any of these. These are mine.
That's the way I act at restaurants.
He's got his arms around his
So-
plate.
These are my
this
empanadas.
was because it was sort of 3 or 4 of each thing that we had for our group. It was like we knew that you were sharing. You know what I mean? So it worked out well. Like nobody had to be like, I want to eat all of this. Or some people are like, oh, I don't like this one. I'll just skip and go to the next one. But we tried several things on the menu. Everything, I'll say this, most of the things were really good. Some of the things I did not enjoy at all.
Right.
But we had the ceviche, which was outstanding. We had the beef fat candle, which I've made fun of for a long time because it seems really pretentious. And I don't know why there's a candle in it, but it's basically some beef stew. You've had this before?
Yeah, I was just about to say, explain it to anybody that doesn't know what it is.
So it's basically beef fat that they shape into the form of a candle with a wick in it. And then it melts down. It melts the beef fat on top of this sort of broth or stew is almost what I would call it. And you dip bread in it, and the bread was fantastic. And that sort of kind of, they kept bringing out bread throughout the meal. So I enjoyed it.
Did you have the goat? I think I've asked this before. Did you have the goat?
I did have the goat.
The goat was good. I liked the goat.
I'm glad you liked it.
You didn't like it.
I did not like it. It was one of the least enjoyable things there. It
was bad, you know. Had to do it,
That's
man.
awful.
It was. First, I did Putin in the very beginning.
It was
my goat.
Nice and tender. It was served on grits, but there was an egg on top, and I'm not sure why.
Don't tell everybody what you said before. You're talking about like, why do people feel the need to put an egg on things?
Yeah, I don't understand it. Like, there's this, delicious. I mean, you already had grits. Why do you need egg? Is this breakfast? Do we need an egg on this?
Do you not mix your grits and your eggs together sometimes?
Yeah, at breakfast.
Yeah.
But not for dinner. I don't know. the ceviche was awesome. We had the blistered okra, which was really good, much better than I thought it would be. All the vegetables there were so fresh.
Yep.
I think that's his thing, is really, really fresh vegetables and
farm
produce.
to table, right?
It is. And the meats honestly were not as great. The fish was really good. I didn't like the seafood pasta dish that everybody says is one of the. I think it's on the list of the top 100 things you're supposed to try in Alabama before you die. I tried it and crossed it off the list.
There you go.
Wouldn't
That's
eat
the
it again.
important part, crossing it off.
But I'm not a seafood lover. Some people are, but it kind of tasted like drinking bay water to me.
Now you mentioned the pork belly.
The pork belly is fantastic.
Have you ever had bad pork belly though?
I have.
Have you really?
I don't like it when it's not rendered down enough and it's really chewy.
I agree with that.
Okay.
So
yeah, I get
you got to kind of cook it right, and this was definitely cooked right. It was pork belly, kind of like a salad. Anytime you can kind of lie and say that you're eating a salad.
I'm having a salad with pork belly.
It was a giant cut of pork belly with like a little bit of lettuce next to it, and so I was eating pork belly, but I called it a salad, so it was great. But it was served with watermelon and I don't know, some other green stuff. But it was really, really good pork belly.
I've never had bad pork belly. I've been to a place, I forgot what the name of it was, but every time we go when I'm in Washington, they bring out like a big old slab of pork belly that has peppercorns on top of it.
Nice.
And it's really good. Sorry. Pork bellies.
It's fine. Bamboo, I really enjoy. They usually have a pork belly, one of their skewers or whatever with.
Ooh, yeah.
It's usually really, really good.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: you liked it. The ambiance was really good, of course.
Yeah. It's all cooked on an open flame.
Yeah,
that's kind of their deal. They don't have gas lines in the building. It's all on an open fire wood burning fire.
So would you go back?
I would probably go back. Certainly in that sort of setting where it was a work dinner. It's not somewhere I think Liz and I would go back to just because she doesn't really like tapas. And there were several things on the menu that we didn't try that I would want to try. There was one thing that I did not like, and I'm going to talk about it. Not to be negative of the restaurant. Overall, it was a very positive experience, and the food was really good, and it was prepared well. But the branded creme brulee is just ridiculous and unnecessary and bad. Like they do.
What do they brand it with? Does it say Oven Bird on there or something?
Yeah, it's got like their logo or whatever, but it's like a coconut cream, which was very, very good. They put the sugar on top, and they actually bruleed a few of them, just set them on the table. But then the one that's like the table side experience, they bring out this giant brand and turn the brown sugar on top of it into charcoal by putting this brand on there and bruleeing it with the brand, which is just sort of pretentious, and it made the whole place smell like burnt sugar, and I didn't enjoy it.
No, somebody at some point should have stopped them and said, "This is not a great idea."
Yeah,
like do it once, take that one away, and give them the real one.
Yeah, and like I don't know, the ones that were done with a torch were fantastic. The one that was
it's probably like
I don't know if you like burnt marshmallows and burnt sugar, great. It's for you.
You're not a creme brulee big fan, right? Or a big creme brulee
usually
fan.
the most like it's usually just a very boring. Like if there's nothing else on the menu, I'll get creme brulee.
Yeah.
And it's usually pretty good, but I mean, it's basically sugar and cream, and can't really go wrong. But unless you burn it, which I don't understand, but maybe he just did it too long.
At some point, it's like, whoa. Put that blowtorch down.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's just eat this as it is.
Well, thank you for the for the review.
That was my restaurant review of Ovenberg. Check it out. The blistered okra was really, really good. Way better than I thought it would be. Check it out. I did enjoy it overall. Everything was most of the things were pretty good. Some things I didn't enjoy, but that's just me. That's why you try a lot of
every
things.
Restaurant.
That's why you have tapas, though. I think it's because there were a lot of people that didn't really eat seafood, and so we kind of, they were like, oh, I'm going to pass on that one, and somebody else really liked it, so that was kind of nice.
Have you ever seen that scene in Lord of the Rings where they try to grab the ring from Bilbo Baggins, and he makes that face? That's the way I am when you try to take my food. I'm just saying. Anyway, that's why I don't enjoy tapas.
So what else has been going on in Birmingham, Blake?
Well, we had Sloss Fest this past week, and apparently
sort of
it was met with they had some difficulties. Just kind of go through what happened. They had to deal with some lightning and some severe weather. 11 acts ended up not playing. 2 acts were cut short, and they try to keep people informed via social media, which I kept seeing throughout the weekend. But apparently, some folks didn't get the message. And I know some folks were frustrated because they called some of the concerts off and it wasn't even raining. Well, there was lightning in the area, so
I think the more frustrating thing was just the logistics of basically being kicked out forcibly by security guards telling them we're closed, it's canceled, get out, and then 2 minutes later on social, or 5 minutes later, as soon as they're out of the area, they're like, don't leave the area. We're about to open back up in like 15 minutes. So I had a friend at work who's they had walked down to Avondale. They were at Parkside by then, and they're like, it's opening back up in 15 minutes. And it's like, so they missed, was it Arcade Fire, one of them?
Yeah. The headliners.
Oh, Moon Taxi.
The headliners ended up playing. So that was good.
Although most of them.
What's that?
St. Paul and the Broken Bones
got cut short, I think, or they didn't play.
I don't think they got to play.
I don't think they got to play, but they're awesome.
Yes.
And what did they do?
They did a free show that night at Saturn.
Yeah.
That's right. I saw the pictures of them like taking stuff inside.
If I had known that, I would have gone down there. So this is my experience with this. I really did not pay for Sloss Fest tickets, so I had no expectation that I was going there. But we were sitting at dinner at my parents' house, celebrating my aunt's birthday, and we started seeing people tweeting that they're letting people in without tickets. Because once they were like, we're going to start back in 15 minutes, everybody sort of rushed, and they were just like letting people through. They weren't checking bags. They weren't checking tickets. They just let people through. We're like, well, let's go. Like, we can go see Jason Isbell. This is going to be awesome.
One of my favorite bands. One of my favorite singers
he's great.
of all time.
So we go down there, but we took our time. And we got down there, and by the time we got down there, they're like, oh, yeah, have your tickets ready.
Oh.
Like, what? You let other people in without tickets? And they're like, well, we're checking tickets now. I'm like, you can go pay full price for a ticket. I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah.
So what you're telling me is that you're trying to cheat the system, and now you're complaining about it.
No, I'm not complaining about it. I just was disappointed that we didn't get in. We could hear them playing in the background. It sounded really good, but we did not get to go. And apparently there was more of that the next day of just hurry up, wait, leave, don't leave, come back. So I think the communication aspect of it was really bad.
Not trouble, but like one year, like the heat was so bad. You know, I mean, I look. Somebody was talking about like, why not move this to the fall? Well, you can't do anything in the fall because of football. I mean, I think you would suffer.
Could do this in...
You could do this in spring, man.
Yeah, like May.
Yeah, or April.
Yeah.
It'd even be even better.
Okay, so a lot of this was weather-related, and besides it being hot, we know that at this point of the year in Alabama, it's going to rain 3/4 of the month, or there's going to be some severe weather of some sort.
At least at some point in the day.
Yes.
You're going to get a storm.
So if you set up rules that say, okay, if there's going to be lightning within 5 miles of this event, we have to shut it down and move people out, that makes sense. But then you need to look at doing the event somewhere different or at some other point in the year.
Yeah.
You can't do it anywhere different, though, and it's Sloss Fest.
Or you need to have a plan. Like, you need to have a plan.
An actual, concise.
Like, tell people, we're going to shut down until this weather moves out of the area. It's going to be approximately 1 hour. Be ready to come back in an hour. Like, not just get out and it's canceled. Right. Like,
I'm sure there's a liability issue, though, of having them in there. I mean, that's probably,
yeah.
But I mean, like, I think you say, okay, guys, you know, they need an app. I think that's the biggest thing. They need an app. I mean, instead of just saying, like, check your Twitter or Instagram or Facebook.
An app would help, but an app is only going to help in so much that somebody is using it properly.
That's true.
And if they couldn't use Twitter or Facebook or whatever they're using to communicate, then the app may not be that much better.
Yeah. It sounds like it could have been handled better. I think just from a communication standpoint, having staff in place and ready to communicate what's happening. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, we're under a weather delay. Like, have signs posted up that go to, we're under a weather delay. You know, we're going to wait for this to move out of the air. We'll start back in 90 minutes if there's no further weather. And then
but then what happens if there's further weather? And I guess you have to keep informed.
Check back at this website in 45 minutes.
Yeah,
I guess.
Check back on our Twitter account in 45 minutes.
Right. Just more communication would have, I think, gone a long way for the because I think people that went loved it and enjoyed themselves when they were in there and when there were shows going on. And it's an awesome place. It's a cool festival.
And they got
a great lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. The lineup was great this year.
But the way it was handled, I think, was poor. And I think a lot of people were really mad about it.
That's what I've gathered.
So
everything I've read and everything I heard is that people that went loved it, had a great time. They said the sound was great, the stages were great. Of course, all of the people that we've seen on like doing the shows were all people that were, for the most part, really great shows. But yeah, then what do you do if you've paid this much for a ticket and you get kicked out and you miss 3/4 of the show?
Well, and the fact that 11 acts didn't play.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. And then 2 acts were cut short. And especially when one of those acts is like a Birmingham band that everybody loves. I mean, that's just, God bless them for going to the Saturn and doing a free show, though.
I think that shows a lot about who they are. I think
absolutely.
They love this town.
And they've done Sloss Fest before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're good.
But so on an up note, since we didn't get in, we did get to sort of see the Back 40 new location that was down there.
Tell us about it.
We didn't really go in. We just kind of saw it, but they have an awesome patio. It's right there outside of Sloss, which is really cool. There were a lot of people sort of hanging out there, I think, during the delays. So that's really cool. But then we ended up going to actually a place called Mom's Basement. Have you guys heard of this?
Have heard of it, have not been.
Yes.
So this is over in Crestwood, or sort of Avondale, Crestwood area. It's in the same shopping center as Tropicalio, right next to Cahaba Brewery.
Right.
And it's literally, you go downstairs into the basement of that building, and it is decorated like a mom's basement. Like it's got like wood paneling. There's like, like old Bear Bryant like things. There's pictures of people's moms that I think they had people bring in on Mother's Day, and they put them up on the wall. So it's like old family photos and like awkward, like awkward family photos, and just the decor is very homey. Yeah. But it's a really cool place. It's just beer and wine, like $5. All their beers are $5. It's a really cool place. I really enjoyed it.
That sounds cool.
They had pool and pinball too. A couple pinball machines, which I love. So.
Nice. Big on the inside.
It's decently sized. It's not tiny, but it's not huge.
What do you come up with an idea like that?
Think
about that for a second. Let's make this look like my mom's basement.
But I love like they have refrigerators, like the old refrigerators, like behind the bar. It's like they keep all their beers, which I think is just
like the old ones with the big lever handle. And you open it up. Yeah,
like these are the kind of refrigerators, like the old refrigerator that used to be nice, that was now downstairs. The downstairs fridge or the back porch fridge or whatever. That's everybody's got one of those. So I thought it was cool. And then they had like the old like stickers on there, like an old I-95 sticker, which if you're from Birmingham, that was like the radio station. And I just remember they used to do this contest where you would call in and they would give away money, and it was however many times you could say I-95, like in 30 seconds or something. So people would go I-95, 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 like, and like each one was like $100 or something. So,
Did you go back to your childhood?
I did. That's like, I'm surprised they didn't have like the little dare stick. Like they probably had like the little dare stickers or like I don't know. We had these like frog stickers in our basement. I was like, thank you for not smoking. Like,
Gosh,
it's a classic.
It was cool. I liked it.
Mom's Basement.
Check it out.
I'm gonna check that out. I think we have a babysitter on Friday, so I'm gonna have to go mosey on over there. Well, good. Well, it's been a great show. You want to close out the show for us, Patrick?
No.
You sure?
Go for it, Blake.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for listening to the 50th episode of Red Mountain Express. We are glad you've hung with us for this long and hopefully for many, many more. Like we've said previously in the show, please go on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or our website. Let us know what you think. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear back from you. So it's been a good show. For Matthew Joyner and Patrick Tucker, I'm Blake Westbrook. We'll see you next week.